Man, my bad, y'all. My bad. Where we at? My bad. Check, check. Y'all hear me? Y'all hear me? We good? What up? What up? What up? What up, man? My bad. My bad. Let's get this thing cracking though. What is good? House gang? House gang? What's up, man? Like I said, this ain't gonna be a long one, man. Hate if I had y'all in here waiting. My bad. My bad. My bad, man. But like I said, this ain't gonna be long. We're gonna talk about Marvel's master plan. Because it seems like they're officially clearing the board for Doctor Doom, right? Officially clearing the board for Doctor Doom. So, that's the thing over there, man. But before we get to Latveria, we got to talk about the God of Thunder, Chris Hemsworth, right? Um, and all of that good stuff. Got to talk about that. Just went to the SmartLess podcast and dropped the bomb. He officially confirmed Avengers Doomsday is not his final role. That's not his final. He ain't getting. He ain't leaving no time soon. Chris said, "I'm here to. I'm here for the stay, man. I'm here to stay." He said, he has already been talking with Kevin Feige, and he has plans to play Thor a couple more times after 2026. I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing. I think, we talk about the heart and soul of the MCU. Thor might actually be the heart and soul of the MCU. I know we talk and say that it's Iron Man, but Thor, who will be going on his fifth movie, he was introduced second, number two, as far as characters being introduced. He might actually be the heart and soul of the MCU. So I ain't mad at it. I am not mad at it, man. You know what I'm saying? Um, as long as we can get away from this right here, man. These goats. These goats, man. This is the important part um of the interview. We got to make a change from and get away from these goats. You know what I mean? We got to. Why is that up there? We got to. Let's get into this article real quick. Damn, I thought I had you up. Thought I had you up. Let's get into this article real quick, man. Thor's MCU future suddenly seems brighter than ever. Right? The God of Thunder has been one of the central characters of the MCU for 15 years, with Chris Hemsworth returning as Thor for the Avengers Doomsday later this year. It's long been assumed that this movie will be the beginning of the end to his time playing the Asgardian. The actor fueled this belief with an emotional tribute to Thor last year. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? His little emotional tribute last year that came across as his goodbye to the MCU. But it seems Chris Hemsworth's comments suggest that Thor survives Doomsday and Secret Wars. Hemsworth had presented real optimism that Thor's story is not ending in the upcoming Avengers Doomsday. He said he'll play Thor a couple more times after making his ninth MCU appearance in Doomsday. This comes as he's been talking up the likelihood that Thor 5 appears and how it will reinvent the character. And this character needs some reinvention. This character needs it. Needs some reinvention, right? Because they jacked him up. They jacked him up with his Thor Love and Thunder, man. They really do. Hopefully, we can get Rune Thor. You know what I'm saying? Just a better Thor than what we've been getting. Because the Thor we've been getting is nasty work. And I don't mean that in a good way. Hemsworth went on to say, I was talking to Kevin Feige about it. He said it's cool because the audience now expects dramatic turns with the character. Whatever we do next, we got some ideas to do something pretty unique again and hopefully be different. Now, there has been dramatic turns for the character from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and then we talk about what we saw, what he was portrayed as in Avengers Doomsday. So he is right about the dramatic turns. Now, they made a dramatic turn for the worse with Thor Love and Thunder, which is it's weird because Taika Waititi did Thor: Love and Thunder, and he also did Ragnarok. Now he didn't write Ragnarok, but he wrote Thor: Love and Thunder, which I guess is why we got the stupid, foolish movie that we got. Because he also went on, and Marvel, I'm looking at you, man. Kevin Feige, I'm looking at y'all. Y'all hiring practices. Y'all hired somebody who didn't know about Thor, didn't care about Thor. He was just in it for the payday. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find exactly what Taika Waititi said about Thor. His comments about Thor. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Because this was egregious. Him even saying that, man. Was it just made me be like, what in the hell? Why would they even hire Cuz? Like, why would they even hire him? Here it is. Taika Waititi says he only directed Thor Ragnarok because he was poor. It wasn't on my plan for my career as an auteur. The director says, I had no interest in doing one of those films, but I was poor. He said it wasn't on my plan for my career as an auteur, but I was poor and I just had a second child. And I thought, you know what? This would be a great opportunity to feed those children. Now, I'm not mad at anybody going to get their money. Get your money. Go get your money. Let me see. Thor Ragnarok being a success. He says, I don't know that I'll be involved. He said of a potential fifth Thor movie. Where did he say? Because he said something. That ain't what I was looking for. He said something like how he had never read the comics. He doesn't know who Thor is. Didn't read the comic and doing it. Trying to find the article. Where's that article? Was it the Rolling Stone article? Let me see if it's this article right here, y'all. It's crazy because I want to say he was like he had no prior knowledge of who Thor was. He never read Thor comics as a kid. He took the job because he was poor, just needed to support his family. He had no interest in doing big superhero movies. It was not part of his original plan. Um, and seemed like to me he just kind of made, you know what I'm saying? Like, since he didn't know who Thor was, he just made his movie. And with him making his movie, we got a bad movie, right? Since he made his movie, his version of Thor, or whatever you want to call this, because he didn't know who Thor was, we got this poor outing of Thor: Love and Thunder, and that's just trash to me. I don't like stuff like that, man. I need people to do they due diligence, man. Hold on, let me see. Marvel was hungry for reinvention of the Thor franchise at the film's slow-moving 2013 sequel. So when asked if he thought Marvel executives were nervous in bringing him on as a director, but TD joked that they really had no other choice. So he even saying that they ain't had no other choice. They had to bring me in. He says, I think there was no place left for them to go with that. What TD said, Thor Ragnarok, I thought, well, they called me in. This is really the bottom of the barrel, is what he said. Despite his hesitation, Thor Ragnarok was a success. With TD recently told Business Insider that he will likely not return to direct the film for the franchise due to his hectic schedule. He's just talking about all the stuff he did now. But yeah, I remember him saying something about him not even knowing who Thor was before he took the job, and the only reason he took the job was because he's poor, or he was poor, and needed to feed his family. Like I said, feed your family, big dog. Get your money, man. Get your money, man. I ain't mad at that. Get your money, but hopefully we get somebody come in better to direct this and know exactly who Thor is and what Thor is about. Um, hopefully they listening to the fans this time. Marvel is who I'm talking about. Because they know Thor: Love and Thunder just leaned way too hard in the comedy aspect of it, man. Too slapstick, too hard, And if we are getting Thor 5, if it's set post Secret Wars MCU, hopefully we get that serious battle hardened Thor, the All Father Thor, the Rune Thor. That I mean, I don't know if y'all begging for it, but that's the type of I want to see that type of Thor. And he can still have his bits and his moments of hilarity. I think that's fine. You know what I'm saying? As a warrior, warriors aren't just stone faced all the time. They have, they got to laugh at the world because they out here doing work out here on this battlefield. So I'm not mad at that, having levity and everything like that. They had dude doing the splits. They had these laughing go. It just got annoying. The whole movie is annoying. Him having the love triangle with two hammers, Mjolnir and Stormbreaker. It just got outrageous, man. The shit got outrageous, and we can't have that again. We cannot have that again, not whatsoever. No. No. We can't have that again, man. Cannot have that again. The crazy thing is going into the next iteration of the MCU. I guess him sticking around really makes sense because it's Thor. I don't age. I'm a god. Yada yada yada. Him sticking around makes all the sense in the world. All the sense in the world. So I'm not mad at that. You know what I'm saying? Who I'm gonna ask y'all this: who else would y'all want to see stick around from the original Avengers? We know we're not getting Black Widow ain't coming back. I think we're done with Chris Evans and Steve Rogers. Hopefully this is it for RDJ. We can't keep getting RDJ because he want to be something. What he gonna be next? You know what I'm saying? Is he gonna be playing if RDJ came back to play Kirk Lazarus as somebody what if Kirk Lazarus showed up if they did another season 2 of of Wonder Man? If they did a season 2 of Wonder Man and RDJ played Kirk Lazarus who was looking for a role. Now you talking about being meta. Now that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy as hell. But we don't need no more RDJ, man. We don't need no more RDJ. Just leave good old RDJ alone. You know what I'm saying? Let him skate off into obscurity or whatever, man. Let him go. But let's talk about the synergy that it seems that Marvel is trying to do to usher in, because as of right now, we're going from Spider-Man to Doomsday to Secret Wars. No big explanation, right? No big explanation. No big. The marketing hasn't even been a big push. I know we're a year out or something like that, but the marketing ain't even really been a push. So it seems like they say, okay, the best thing that we can do now in order to market is to synergize the comics to correlate with the movies, right? So I'm gonna call it the Doom synergy, which is what's going on. Call it the Doom synergy. We got Doomquest coming in the comic book side of things, right? They and this is what they used to do. Well, I guess they've been doing it for a while. Corporate synergy. When a movie comes out, this is what Marvel normally does. They're rolling out the red carpet for Robert Downey Jr. right now, making him Dr. Doom. So why not make him the center of the comic book universe as well right now, right? That makes sense. Makes totally perfect sense. So in May, we're going to be getting this massive 10-issue maxi series called Doomquest, right? Written by Ryan North. The plot: Reed Richards, he possesses a plan to fix humanity's history. Reed Richards proposes a plan to fix humanity's history. Doom gets offended, decides Reed isn't worthy, and travels throughout time. I want y'all to listen to this. Doom gets offended, decides Reed isn't worthy, travels throughout time to rewrite all of human history himself just to flex on his arch enemy. That sounds like something Doom would do. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is, doesn't that kind of sound like maybe what we're getting with Doomsday a little bit? Doesn't that kind of sound like what could be Doom's role in Doom? Now, not the whole thing, but Doom traveling through time, rewriting history just to get back at Reed doesn't seem far-fetched as what could be happening in Doomsday. Because the thing is, we don't have really nothing to pull from for Doomsday. I know we got Secret Wars, and we're trying to add Secret Wars up with what's the storyline with the incursions and everything. But see, I'm thinking this is what I've been saying. Doom is the incursion. It's not that these beings are causing incursions. Doom is the incursion. He's the one going around messing up time. He's the one going around destroying these universes, rewriting human history as so to speak, as what it is for the plot of this Doomquest comic book right here. Corporate synergy. Everything don't have to align. What's going on in the comics is going on in the comics. What's going on in the MCU is going on in the MCU. But we're going to have some similarities trickle over into the MCU. That way, when it happens, we got that. Aha. Right? Not a 1-for-1, but just enough. Just enough. I think that's kind of pretty peak. I think that's kind of dope. It's very, I mean, Doom, if we get the petty Doom that we should be getting, I'm all here for it. I'm all here for it. If we're getting that, I am down for that. Because to me, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense going into Doomsday. Remember, I said it here first. Now, I haven't heard anything about. Well, I mean, I've read the plots, whatever. I don't know what plot, because it's a couple of plot leaks floating around. I know John Campea said something about he read the plot and the official plot. He knows what's going on. I might have read the official plot. Some plots kind of sound like this, some don't. So I don't know. But the synergy doesn't stop there. The synergy does not stop there, man. Avengers Armageddon. Got the homie Chip Zdarsky on it. It's they're launching what's called Avengers Armageddon. As you see, the premise is wild. That is Thunderbolt Ross, the Red Hulk, who we saw last. Like, I'm throwing these things out here because I'm trying to think of the future of the MCU, the present and the future, what things could be happening in the MCU. That is Thunderbolt Ross, the Red Hulk, decides to invade and claim Latveria for himself while Doom is occupied. This sparks a massive global conflict where the Avengers literally have to go to war with the Hulk, who is running a sovereign nation. Now, it seems like Marvel is really trying to elevate Red Hulk in the comics right alongside Doom. Could that be a real reason? Could the real reason be that we're trying to push this for the MCU? We saw Red Hulk and Captain America Brand New, whatever that movie called. Whatever that's called, but is Marvel betting on Red Hulk going forward? Like, is Red Hulk going to be part of the future in the MCU? Does Doom have a future in the MCU? Or is Doom killed off? Hopefully he ain't killed off. Hopefully he is not killed off. We got to keep some of these because right now to me they are running out of like villains that people know, recognizable villains. And if we're going to the future, we need some villains that's recognizable. And we don't have a lot of those because they killed them all off. Do you bring Ultron back? Or is this just for the comics? Is this just the comic book side of things? I don't know. I don't know, man. But it's it's synergy. But the question is this a good thing or a bad thing? Is this a good thing or a bad thing? I love synergy. I think synergy works if you're doing it right. One could propel the other, or they feed off of each other. They should feed off of each other. Comic sales should see a spike, But let's talk about the bad of the synergy. Let's talk about how synergy can actually hurt things as well, right? Now, this is an old article, came out sometime last year. MCU synergy is a problem for Marvel Comics. For the comic side of things, it's a problem. In the cinematic Marvel Cinematic Universe, a creative drag on Marvel Comics. Is it a creative drag on Marvel Comics? It's complicated. It is undeniable that the MCU has done wonders for the Marvel brand. So the brand is up. At the same time, readers think Marvel Comics has taken a backseat to Marvel Studios in recent years, and that problems at the film production level have a way of trickling down to the comics. Marvel Comics need to capitalize on the success of the MCU, of course, but there is peril in trying to chase on-screen success on the page. Often it seems that Marvel Comics is at its best when it offers a striking alternative to the MCU, and at its worst when it tries too hard to be the MCU. I'm with like in the comics should not be trying to do what the movies do, but I do think the movies need to look down at the comics and bring those storylines to life. That's the synergy to me that works. I supply you the product, I supply you the storylines. You look down, you take those storylines, you say, we can render this and turn this into live action, animation, something. Turn it into a different medium. But the thing should start with the comics. The comics is where the magic really is. Not the MCU. The comics. That's where the magic is. Since MCU is Marvel's main source of revenue now. True that. I understand. Hey, we're making money off the MCU. Comics set you aside. And the comics have to fit into the larger picture. How does the MCU impact Marvel Comics? According to the visionary creators Jack Kirby and Stan Lee, the Marvel Comics universe was meant as a fantastical reflection of the real world. In a way, the MCU is, to borrow its own term, the endgame extension of this. The remarkable thing about the MCU's early years was how faithfully it captured the essence of Marvel's most classic characters. And that's a thing that I argue with all the time, especially Tina. I argue this with Tina all the time. Capturing the essence of Marvel's most classic characters. You know what didn't capture the essence of a Marvel character, of a classic Marvel character? Wonder Man. Wonder Man is a prime example of them missing the mark of capturing the essence of a character. With Wonder Man, they basically created a brand new character to tell the story that they wanted to tell. That's when a person like me, who is, came up knowing the backstory and reading these comics, I side eye things like that. Now, the average run of the mill, fly by night MCU fan might not have an issue with Simon K. Williams, Simone K. Williams. I do. They don't have an issue with it because they don't even understand the essence of said character. Black Panther. That was not a faithful, captured essence of a character. Kind of created their own new character with that character. Iron Man, not so much. Iron Man was faithfully captured. Captain America, faithfully captured. Even Thor was faithfully captured. They started playing a little bit with Thor towards the end, but when Thor first was given to us, faithfully captured. Black Widow, the Hulk, faithfully captured. Hawkeye, for the most part. They did a little tweaking on Hawkeye. But the essence was there. Clint's essence was there. Right? So initially, the MCU served as the perfect entry point to Marvel lore for generation for new fans. And that's what I was just talking about. The MCU served as a entry point. As the MCU has grown into a global phenomenon, though it has taken on an increasingly paramount role for Marvel as a business. Marvel Comics couldn't help but feel the impact of this creatively, creatively, for better or worse, in some way or another. In short, the MCU makes a lot more money than Marvel Comics. As such, it has become a machine that has to sustain itself. The comics have to fit into the larger operation. They are no longer at the top of the pyramid of importance for Marvel overall, and readers can feel it on the page. So I understand we got this juggernaut, this giant of a thing over here called the MCU. I look at it kind of like pro sports. The MCU is pro sports right now. But in order for pro sports to work, you need a feeder league, whether that's college, which is what college football is turning into for the NFL, right? Or you need a minor league kind of situation to feed into the majors, right? And that's what I'm talking about. So in order for that to happen, you need the best of the best to come out of these feeder leagues. If you don't have the best of the best, then the league itself, the big league, will suffer. To put this in correlation with Marvel or the MCU is suffering because they're not taking the essence of these characters and applying them when making these movies. Instead of making comic book movies, they're making art house movies. Instead of making comic book movies, they're making movies that they want to make. That has nothing to do with how this comic book character is. That's what's been the downfall to me of the MCU. So the curious case of Quicksilver, the MCU's greatest casualty. Did the speedster's MCU demise derail his comic trajectory? Quicksilver is among the most often cited examples of Marvel comic character who has suffered as a result of the MCU. The character has been an integral part of Marvel canon, stretching back to the original X-Men series and the early days of the Avengers. The MCU dispatched them in one film, Age of Ultron. So you have this character with a lot of legacy, a lot of story to be told, and you got rid of him. You killed him. Not only did you kill him, you killed him in a way that he probably would never be killed in the comics. Never be killed in the comics. Not like that. So that kind of change wouldn't necessarily be a problem, except that since then, Quicksilver's role in Marvel Comics has simply been stymied. Many fans believe this is because it's not worth investing time or creative energy in the character if he's not expected to have a significant MC. Ooh. If that holds true, and as I'm reading that, that's crazy. They killed Quicksilver off in the movies. Then his role in comic books was significantly and drastically removed. And now that they say that, I haven't seen Quicksilver too much in Marvel Comics. That makes me think about T'Challa. T'Challa was killed, and his roles in comics got regulated, and it began to look real disrespectful. It began to look real off. Like they started to treat this character like it didn't matter what they did to him, even though he had just did $1 billion in the box office. And I think a lot of people don't understand that's one of the reasons the recast crowd were screaming at the top of their lungs for him to come back. Because once they got rid of him in a lot of places. X-Men 97, he wasn't in there. It was his dad for some reason, which then just canonically and time-wise didn't make sense. Canonically and chronologically did not make sense for it to be T'Chaka as the Black Panther instead of T'Challa as the Black Panther in X-Men 97. In the comics, his Avengers role was diminished. He disappeared for a couple of issues, sent to another world. They took his crown away from him. He was no longer king of Wakanda. He became an enemy of his own state. So much so that that state called in Captain America to beat him up and to bring him into justice. Which would never make sense because Captain America wouldn't do that to T'Challa. So that's crazy, even me reading that. Say Quicksilver is just one example. His sister Scarlet Witch had a disappointing heel turn and exit from the MCU, which offered a terse, unsatisfying equivalent to her powerful, dramatic fall and eventually redemption in Marvel Comics lore. Other characters like Iron Man feel stuck in a rut because they can't stray too far from their MCU counterparts. So, with that being said, it seems like the creators and the writers of these comic books, they can't really get busy with the IPs that they might be in control of. They might be stymied. They can't write the stuff that they want to write or make this character too dynamic because they can't stray from what the MCU counterpart is. That's bad business. Because if you're just a comic book reader and you don't really, the movies, now you as a reader, you're going to be like, what is this trash? What is this? Who is this character that I'm reading? This ain't the same character I grew up reading or I've been reading for the past however long. So the Marvel stories that break from the MCU the most are the best. It has got, the Marvel stories that break from the MCU the most are the best it has going right now. What do MCU fans really want when they pick up a Marvel book? So the Marvel characters and franchises who seem to be doing the best right now tend to be those where the publisher isn't trying to replicate their MCU success or to create synergy with the movies. The mortal Thor is one current standout in which the depowered god of thunder must wrestle with his humanity in hopes of restoring his place in the continuity. That that'd be a dope story for Thor for them to address in like Thor 5. Him losing his powers, him being good old average David Blake. So another example is the highly regarded Krakoan era of X-Men, which lasted from 2019 to 2025, with no more X films in development at Fox. Their MCU entry pushed back. The franchise was left to its own devices, and Marvel's mutants were allowed to be as weird and wild as they ever been. I the Krakoa era to me was so dope, so dope. I think that was to me that was the X-Men operating at their peak. I know it gets mixed reviews, but to me, Krakoa was dope. I really enjoyed the Krakoa era. It could have been better. If they would have let Jonathan Hickman do his thing and really get busy the way he wanted to get busy, could have been way better. Since the MCU offers a great gateway to Marvel Comics for interested readers, but there's an unfortunate truth the company must reckon with. Only a fraction of moviegoers are going to be motivated to go check out the books. Those that do are likely to those that do are more likely going to be inclined to accept that the comics don't feel or look exactly like the movies. That's what I just said. That is crossover movie. The comic fans are looking to discover the wilder, weirder world of the Marvel universe. On the surface, it makes sense that Marvel Comics would want to offer MCU fans more of what they like to make books familiar and accessible to MCU fans, but this doesn't take into account the not totally logical logic of fandom. That's true. The fans, comic book fans are fickle. Comic book fans are fickle. Reason being is if our character is going to be on screen, the character that we might like, that we're a fan of, we want like they said in earlier of this article, we at least want the essence of that character to be portrayed there, who we're familiar with, who we know this character to be. So when you change up Wonder Man, when you change up um um a Thor or somebody, when you change these people up, one Wolverine, the readers are gonna be like, the hell, what is that? And I don't know how inclined they are to stay or to watch it multiple times, to stream it. I don't know how inclined they would be to do that when the character that they like is not there or is only there in name only. You know, see how much more we got left of this article. Not that much left. Let me finish reading. I'm gonna just read this whole thing. Marvel creators have got more pressure from above than ever before, and it shows on the page. How does Disney limit Marvel's creative product? When Marvel Comics makes moves to try to cater to MCU fans, it represents an artificial creative motivation. That is, a character's appearance or reappearance or resurrection or return to their old look isn't dedicated by the terms of the story. It's mandated because the character is set to appear in a movie, show, or MCU product tie-in. Marvel has always had a top-down creative model. That's the nature of the comic book industry. Not even Stan Lee was totally unburdened. Oh, excuse me, from editorial edicts, though he was as close as any Marvel Comics author or artist who has ever had true freedom. Most, however, are subject to the whims of their editors, who in turn must answer to their higher ups. Now that Marvel is a Disney subsidiary, there are even more rungs on the ladder above the heads of Marvel creators and editors than before. That means more interference from above, more moves made to try to anticipate such interference. It fundamentally changes the creative calculus of Marvel Comics. Uh, though they once might have been akin to a binary system, Marvel Comics is now effectively a planetoid in orbit around the MCU star. It can't escape the gravitational pull of the MCU, and the Marvel Comics books that feel that tug are the ones readers are most skeptical of. So basically, in short, what they're saying is the movie should be pulling from the comics. The comics should not be pulling from the movies. That's kind of the gist of it. Point blank, period. So again, is Marvel forcing this synergy? I would say yes. Even after reading that article, you gotta say yes. Just seems like it. Because it's about the almighty dollar. And I'm gonna get to y'all comments in a minute. I see you, Nova Dragon. But it just seems like the almighty dollar is the only thing that matters. You know? But y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Because, are they it's I'm just asking, are they doing too much? Are they doing too much? Are they forcing Dr. Doom down our throats to try to make us forget about this whole Kang situation? I don't know. I don't know. Are y'all hyped about getting a fifth Thor movie though? Or should old Chris Hemsworth hang the hammer up after Secret Wars? What y'all think? What do y'all think? Let's take a quick break, real quick, and I'll come back and get into y'all comments, and then we get on the fight.
My favorite color is blue. These niggas where you from? This nigga. My favorite color is blue. My favorite color is blue. Tell these niggas where you from? This nigga. Blue shoes, friends in my red truck. Hey, tell these niggas where you from?
Hold on. Let me turn this down. Look, man, if you've been rocking with the channel, and if you've been here for every trailer breakdown and every album reaction, it's time to officially join the game. Now, look, we just dropped channel membership, and we're making it easy for everybody to get in. That's everybody. For just 99 cents, you can become a house guest. That gets you the custom loyalty badge next to your name and comment so everybody knows who you are from day one. Plus, you unlock exclusive emoji packs. And yeah, the house guests get priority, replays, and all of that. But if you want the real backstage pass, you gotta level up to the house guest family membership, right? You get all the dollar perks, plus the member shout out, and access the deeper dive exclusive live stream, member only shorts that nobody else sees, and merchandise discount. So stop lurking outside of the house, man. Come on in. Pick your tier, and let's make this community a legendary one. Gang. I love to see it. Yeah.
My favorite color is blue. My favorite color is blue. Tell these niggas where you from? My favorite color is blue. Shoot strings in my red truck. Hey.
Yeah. Welcome back, man. I ain't even tell y'all to hit that like button, man. Hit that like button too if y'all up in here. Hit that like button, please. That invigorates the algorithm. All right. Let's see what's going on in the comments. Nova in the building. Lawrence in the building. Nova says, I believe these next two phases after Doomsday will be Chris's last run in the MCU. Yeah, it'll probably be his last run. I can see them using him sparingly, showing up in different things whenever needed, something like that. But he made it to 5 movies, man. He made it to 5 movies. That's a feat. That is a feat. That's horror movie territory when you got, you know what I'm saying? 4, 5, 6 movies lined up, ready to go. That's most horror movies is like that. It makes sense. Thor is the last of the MCU Trinity that's currently still going. Why not have the MCU ride on him for now? Yeah, but they wanted RDJ, so they got RDJ. And I think since Love and Thunder was not received well, even though it made money, it was not received well. Maybe they lost a little faith in Thor. You know what I'm saying? Something restored it, but I think they might have lost a little faith in Thor. And if they do recast for the reboot, have his brother Liam play Thor. Have the explanation be the universe reset doesn't affect Thor due to him being a god, but it somehow de-ages him a little bit. Liam doesn't have Chris's charisma from what I've seen. So, what's good, Jay? Q, the homie Q in the building. What up, Q? Have Thor send off be after running from the throne and family legacy for so long, he comes back full circle, realizes that the newly built Asgard needs him not as a warrior but as a king. I do think that that might be on the docket. I really do. Daniel Berry's sport highlights. What up, man? Happy Thursday to you, bro. Happy Thursday to you. That way, Thor's still alive and well in the MCU going forward, but has retired as the king of Asgard, and you can have cameo. Yep, I agree. I agree. 1000%. I agree. 1000%. I think that works. Think that works. Sandra says, which MCU characters you will keep and let go post Secret Wars? That's the question I'm asking. What would you keep and let go? I think you got to keep the Thunderbolts rolling. Shang-Chi, you keep. I would have to sit down and write it out. At the top of my head, I know those two. Shang-Chi. Guess we're keeping Thor. That's a good question, man. That's a good because do you keep Shuri and M'Baku and all of them? I think they say Peter Quill is supposed to come back. Wouldn't mind him. I think you bring the Eternals back some type of way, especially when dealing with the mutants. I think you need the Inhumans to show up. I think an Inhuman versus X-Men battle would make a lot of sense. In trying to separate the two. I think, you know what I'm saying? Rumor saying Avengers Secret Wars was filming put on hiatus. Did you read the UK? Yeah, I read it. It's on hiatus, man. They got some. I'm pretty sure they just want to work some kinks out, but they did say they're not splitting into two because a lot of people took that as in they're just going to be splitting Secret Wars into two projects. But I need to go check it because if they do that, they would have to register another LLC. So I would have to go check and see if there's another LLC registered. I also believe Marvel came out and confirmed that Anthony will stay on. Yeah, Captain. That's right. That was another person I was thinking of. My eyes is itching and burning. Captain Black America of Captain Black Falcon of America. Let me say that again. I'm not mad at. I'm not mad at. They just need a better script surrounding this guy. I don't think you need to pussyfoot around racism when it comes to him or bigotry or prejudice when it comes to him. Say Doomquest is somewhat of a comic book adaptation of Doomsday, but not a one for that's what I'm thinking, Nova. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Doom is not the villain. He wants one singular timeline. Nah, he the villain. Doom is the villain. He is the villain. Marvel like they ignored the Loki series. Right. He could be. Red Hulk could be and show up. Cause why not? Why not? That's my answer when it comes to Marvel. Why not? Why not? With everything they got going on, why not? Should be the goal, but it's never the goal. Stuff like that is never the goal. I don't know why, but I feel like some of the X-Men at their universe in Doomsday will carry over into the reboot after Secret Wars, which sounds dope. But I don't know what you think. No. I don't think that. I don't think they should. Let me say that. I don't think they should because I'm sticking to my guns that Doom is the incursion and Doom is killing all these universes off. I really do. I know. My bad, y'all. This is horrible for a broadcast, me doing all this on camera. But the thing saying that the X-Men have been living in this universe, and they're the ones who've been calling different universes off so they can live in some type of harmony. I think that's BS, man. I think that's BS. So the comic should do a crossover storylines with the MCU. That would be pretty dope. And some MCU crossover comic storylines don't have to be canon. That way the writers can go crazy. Not mad. Jay gifted a membership. I think he gifted it to himself. He did, because no, he gifted it. Lawrence just became a sponsor. I don't know what's going on. Lawrence, I appreciate you becoming a sponsor. Let me give you this big dog. Dog. Nasty dog. Doggy dog.
Let's rock.
So salute to you, Lawrence. And Snap, Jay just became a member too. I got to give you something. I appreciate it, man. Hey, I'm going to tell you this. That means a lot to me, man. That's helping keep the lights on here, and give y'all this good information so we can have a good time, laugh, joke, coke, and smoke, man, and do the stuff that we're supposed to do while enjoying the content that we all consume as fans, right? So I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Let me give you.
Well, this is the raid. Everybody lay down, behave.
Now give up the cash, don't make us have to
This
laugh.
is the raid. Everybody lay down, behave.
This is a hold up, your hand should go up.
This
That's right. This is the raid. It's a raid. Everybody on the ground. It's a raid. What else? I think that's it, man. That is it. I appreciate everybody who stayed with me. What y'all think about all of this? Do y'all think that Doomquest could give us some inclination of what's going on in Doomsday? And if not, if it don't, then it don't. But I think that would make sense in them doing that. I think that would make sense in them doing that. So, like I said, I appreciate all y'all, man. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the thumbs bell on the way in, on the way out. If you're a replay gang, please do that. And you ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here, man. Peace to the house gang. And like that there, we are outie 5,000. Yada.
This concludes today's broadcast from Blues News. We hope you enjoyed tonight's programming and the time we've shared together.
Right. Always be about being authentic. Drop like that drop to what it was March, so that we added to the slate on the strength of an exception.
So I think it's confidence. I think that
Blues News is dedicated to bringing you the very best in pop culture, music, and conversation, serving viewers everywhere, every day. On behalf of our staff and crew, we thank you for watching. We'll return tomorrow with more entertainment, insight, and fun for the whole house gang. Good night and good luck.